gotta get going. Okay, we'll call September 7th Management Services meeting to order. Are there any public comments? Seeing none, are there any county farm management issues? That would be you, yeah.
Okay, brought to you folks copies there. One, I just brought a few extra. This is just, I brought before what we had applied for the year, and after the last meeting, then we applied that. It was a fungicide for soybean rust, and then we went and put in a little insecticide in it, take care of any bugs, and then that volunteer corn that was out there, we put in the herbicide, so.
What kind of bugs does the insecticide take care of?
Pardon me?
What kind of bugs?
Oh, well, the leaf bugs, there's a leaf beetle, grasshopper, a couple little aphids. We wouldn't have sprayed just for it, but we went ahead, there was a few out there, and we needed to spray the fungicide with all the rain, so it wasn't too expensive to add the insecticide to it.
And it doesn't do anything for mosquitoes?
Unfortunately not. It should be.
Mosquitoes are a serious problem, right?
Yes. So, put on that's everything. Fortunately, all the blooming's been done before, and the pollination within the corn beans both out there before this heat today and yesterday. But showing some growth, it's looking pretty good. So
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
see now how the things progress here towards fall. So things are looking good. With those big rains, I'm really glad we're seeing a lot of benefits from getting that fixed under the highway. These big torrential rains are hit.
I bet that's a
Really,
huge improvement.
up there. So that was a benefit. The only thing I want to kind of bounce off of you to kind of consider when we talk about more later after harvest, there are some places where, especially on the 40 over there, just south of Joe's, 40 by itself, where the hedge is coming out 20 or more feet over. We went along and just trimmed that up a little bit. And if you want any fence rows taken out, or just leave the fence rows. But the worst is along some of that hedge, it's hanging over quite a bit. It really takes away a little bit of the farm to help keep the line cleaner. We'll into that done later. But like I say, we can talk about that after harvest. I just wanted to.
How are you thinking about trimming them with a high hoe?
Yeah, it's really, there's enough there. We have our high hoe, we can come on there and get with it, so.
Approaching on how long the strip?
There's a quarter mile that goes on that 40. It's not bad. There's a few places, and then other straggler places along the fence rows that we take care of. Mainly that quarter mile strip. Nothing real significant, something that.
Has anybody talked to their neighbor about it, what their feelings are as far as trimming or taking it out?
No, we were going to talk to them to see, and we have not yet. It's going to be a little bit.
Because it probably affects several acres by the time you go that long.
Go along, yeah, and it's a strip, like I say, comes out on you, and want to get in there and get a better, try to see a definite boundary line too. See, some of it may be trees that are on the line, or whether they're on the other side, hanging over. So, we'll talk how there we can get in there and look at it better.
Yeah, keep us informed on
Sure,
that.
yes, yes. Everything else been moving along fine, getting ready for harvest. We had a lot of rain, of course, and again,
Do you know if the city jetted out that culvert over here by the courthouse?
We have not tried to get a hold of, and then we got, on other things, we have not talked anymore on that to see what is the situation with that.
You did some digging out there to find tile or broke or?
It was mainly just kind of plugged, haven't found any broken tile there. I'm gonna dig, but it's mainly plugged up.
You gonna try to farm that little corner now or?
We have, and I don't know if that would still allow that, or if it'd be mainly just help maybe the flow of water away. That corner may still not be able to be.
We had a conversation a month or two ago about that tile, about if we couldn't repair it, running tile, double wall tile for that short distance to hook in, didn't we?
That was,
That might have been on the highway.
Yeah, that was
We talked
on the
about on the highway. We got
Was
all
that
taken
over
care of.
there? Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, we were able to flush that out, and were able to avoid putting new tile in or double wall over there.
Right. But isn't that the problem over here in the corner? Kyle
Yes.
had info on that.
It's,
That catch basin was blocked and he made arrangements with the city to jet it out. I don't know, that's why I asked if they did it the other night.
Okay. So that's an unresolved issue, right?
yes, in that corner with the city drain, you know. We kind of cleaned off around it a little bit, just try to help it.
any other questions? All right. Discuss AT&T IP Flex bandwidth increase.
Okay, this month, we had talked a couple months ago that our AT&T rep had talked to me about possibly increasing the bandwidth that we have. We have 10 megs of bandwidth up and down, so coming in and going out. For an entity this size, our new AT&T rep that actually has come and visited us thought that was remarkably low. There are times we hit the max bandwidth pretty regularly, and a lot of it has to do with when we get updates. For Windows, we'll distribute updates, so everybody's going out to get their Windows updates and downloading those Windows updates. We've talked about that in IT. We'll hit our bandwidth, and then, I mean, there are a lot of users with software that runs on the web now, web-based software. So we're going out on the web to use our software. The grant management software is that way. I use it. The Cornerstone computers with all their billing for the state is done that way. More and more software programs are run that way. So we're having some problems. A couple months ago, when I first met Jack Hughes, our new rep, AT&T rep, he was going to try and get us increased bandwidth. And he said he could do it for like $1 a month. And so I said, if you can do that, I'm all for it. But we don't want to pay any more for it. Well, maybe 2 weeks ago, Lyle, he called and said, if I can get you, well, it was last week, because it was like the day before, the week of the last week of August. If I can get you a contract for a nominal increase in your IP Flex and get you up to 50 megs, can you sign it before Monday the 31st? And I said, well, I need to know what you're talking about. He says, well, I said, it's going to be $1, right? $1, I can talk to Lyle. I said, I can get approval on September 13th, but if it's the same price, I can talk to Lyle, and I'm sure I could get approval ahead of time, and we can get it done. Well, it's not going to be $1 a month, but it'll be small. Maybe, what did I tell you? Was it $50 to $100 or something like that? Well, $50 to $100 a month is way different than $1 a month. So I talked to Lyle, and I said, what if it's like $20 a month? What do you think about that? And he said, tell him you have approval if it's $10 a month. or less. Way to go, Lyle. Because what they did is send me a contract for an increase of $8 a month, so $96 a year. We're going to go from 10 megs of bandwidth to 50 megs of bandwidth.
That's a big increase for a small price. That's good.
Yeah, huge. It will be
Yeah.
huge. And so you can see, I was going to make you a copy of the contract, but it's so hard to understand that I just gave you a copy of the last bill, the July bill, I think, and marked out what changes. So the voice over internet, we were being charged like a module card fee of $184 a month. That goes away. So we're just paying our flat fee for the calling plan, which is $402 on that. So that'll be an increase or a decrease every month of $184. And then on the data side, which is the other bill, there's a decrease in the actual access charge from $897.80 to $828, and an increase, obviously, in the actual megabytes, the fee for the actual size of it, which is correct. That goes from 10 megs, we were paying $435.20, and the new rate for 50 megs is going to be $697.08. So the net increase to the data side is $192. So 192 minus 184 is $8 a month. So that came through on, I think, the 31st. It's all electronically signed anyway, so it's just my email, and I responded back and approved it. It's well within the flexible amount of the budget, because I always have a little bit of cushion in the budget. It's never exact to the dollar. And I had $1,200 of extra over our current run rate. I use an extra $1,200 just in case there's some variances based on usage. And so I added $1,200 for that for next year. So the 96 is well within the range. So I went ahead and e-signed it. The other thing we wanted was that it was no increase in length of the contract. We had 3 years remaining on our IP Flex contract, and it's a 36 month. So it doesn't increase the length of the contract at all.
So we're good for 36 months at $8, no chance for an increase during the contract period.
True.
And the total increase in the budget line will be $96.
Right. Right.
Sounds well done to me.
For 5 times the
Bandwidth.
Yeah, that's a big increase.
Just to make it all nice and pretty. Yep.
Make a motion to approve that.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Take the roll.
Crow? Yes. Sure.
Yes.
Caspar?
Yes.
Barron?
Yep. I guess you didn't have anything else to support?
No.
Okay.
Good, thanks.
I just kind of skipped over it, I guess. All right, snow removal. We're looking at getting bids because there was some concerns last year, and we don't know how bad the year's going to be this year, and we don't know what the budget's going to be, so we're just going to get bids, and we may take them or we may not. But in order to get them in time, we have to work on it now. So
When do we let that run? Is that November 1st?
they,
October 31st? When do we
those
let
bids
that?
were,
Well, it depends on the year. When we've been not too organized, we approved it in November, which means they started December 1st, but you can have November snow. When we've been more organized, we approve in October, just in case you have some the contract start November 1st, just in case you have some November snow. I don't know what we're going to get, so.
so by starting now, we should have it in time for the first part of November, I would think. Which, as long as we don't start the 1st of January, we're fine. We can start earlier because it doesn't matter. We don't have any snow to remove. So, I guess we need a motion to get bids.
I move that we advertise and post on the website and in the building for bids for snow removal to be opened in October. And do we need a date that they're due by, or do you want to figure that out? So we have them at the October meeting?
Right,
Okay.
that's fine.
You figure that out. Anything else we need to put in there? Pursuant to the previous contract? Pursuant to the terms of the existing contract?
There is no existing contract,
Yeah.
so,
We need to go...
Oh, we did snow removal last year ourselves.
Yeah.
Why are we changing? Wait a minute.
Well,
Hold the phone.
how was snow removal last year?
Cold?
And it was a light year, right?
And you had trouble getting help with shovelers?
Pardon?
And you had trouble getting help with people shoveling?
No, well, we didn't have a trustee, no. But Derek shoveled once, the jailer shoveled.
Oh, well, if he's gonna shovel, then we won't get snow removal.
I mean,
Well, we're down 3 deputies. He might have to go to the road.
I mean, we had a really
Like,
super year.
Yeah.
so are you okay with letting this go? Back out for contract?
I don't have.
I don't know so much if that's an issue as is, why don't we see what comes in? I mean, you don't have to take,
Yeah,
you can refuse any and all bids.
yeah, and it says that on,
You don't have to, I mean, you don't have to take it, but it would, as you're putting finals to a budget, it
yeah, and if the bids...
wouldn't be a bad thing to have that information.
Yeah. I mean, if the bids come in at 2,000 or if they come in at 20,000, I mean, it's gonna make a difference.
That's the whole purpose of doing this.
Yeah.
See what we get. And then we have room to talk about shoveling and other issues that we've encountered in the past, salt use and stuff like that.
Yeah, and we'll look at the old contract, see if we need to be more specific on some things, because on some of these contracts lately, we haven't been specific enough, so.
We can do after it's let for bid, don't we have to have some specs when we let it
Well,
for bid?
when we let it for bid, before we let it for bid, we want to make sure that it says what we want it to say.
So do you want the motion?
Previous,
Contract.
from what I've previously posted on the website and previous ads, I have all of
So we
that
can look at that, you and,
Me and
from years past.
those guys, that way, because, I mean, in the past, there's been issues with whether or not they shoveled the sidewalks good enough, or
Right.
shoveled the steps good enough.
or wasted
Well, people
snow.
fell.
Right, so, I mean, specify that the steps have to be shoveled completely, not just a path.
Okay, you want to read the motion back to me?
Mhm. Move to advertise snow removal and post on the website,
And in the building.
and in the building for opening in October.
Pursuant to the terms of, do you want that
Well,
in there?
no, it's just, that'll all be, everything else will be in the bid sheet.
Okay.
Okay.
A second.
You can read that later, it's about my email.
Okay.
Any other thoughts on snow removal? I guess we take a look.
Crow?
Yes.
Sure. Hassler?
Yes.
Fair?
Yes. Finalized leases. The reason they're back here again is because we neglected to specify on these leases what the dollar per square foot was. We did it on the Champaign Consortium, but we could not find anywhere in the minutes
Thanks, folks.
what we specified
Bye.
for these leases.
Thank you.
I guess it was assumed that it would be the same, but it was never officially
David.
done.
And I think I missed a meeting, maybe two this summer. What did we finally decide on, 5% at $673, or did you guys lower that?
673 seems to be what we've agreed on, because that allowed for a little, well, that's what
I didn't bring my sheet on the cost per square foot.
I've got it.
I think it turned out to be like $583, is that right, Donna? $583 a square foot is the actual cost? Yeah, 582.
Okay, 582.
582 per square foot is the actual cost. So I can't remember where the 673 came from.
Well, I
Maybe we
think
were
that
just
was
figuring
figuring,
4%, 5%, I think we were figuring that.
it was built in because there's going to be inflationary costs in the future. We're, you know, and we're locking in for 3 years, so we're assuming that our costs are going to go up.
It's usually a good guess.
So we've approved these and they've been signed?
No,
Oh, okay, we haven't.
well, we never approved
The amount.
the amount.
So, okay.
There's also a problem on the Head Start lease. The description does not include the play area. Or, excuse me, the garden area.
The garden, probably not. I'm not really sure what the square footage is there or not. I didn't adjust them, Amanda did, but I know the old ones didn't have that. That garden is new, so it wouldn't have been in the old one.
Are we,
Does the 2,688 square feet include the play area? That outdoor play area?
Yeah, it talks about, the 2,000, if I remember the lease correctly, I'm going off my head, so bear with me. But if I remember right, the 2,068 square feet is their internal space, but the lease goes on to describe then the play area outside at no charge. If you want, I can get the actual
No,
verbiage. so
I
we
think
can-
the question is, if they're paying, or if they're, being charged for that outdoor play area right now, and how does that play into that garden area? And then, if they're not paying for the outdoor area right now, and they're not paying for the garden area, is that the policy we want to pursue? If they even want more space, at what point in time do you say, hey, wait a minute,
Right.
you know?
Right, the lease currently defines that they're paying for the interior and that the exterior play area is at no charge.
And I think when we decided to go with the garden, we decided that they could just do that and not
That's
to
right. We
charge any
decided that with
further
the
with that.
garden too at that time.
Here's the lease.
That was for this,
we're up until the lease is
31st.
expired.
Right.
That's not,
We were gonna
now we're
discuss
looking
that
at something different.
Well,
That's why I brought it up, that
I'd be in favor of letting it go under the same.
Who maintains the play area? Do they or do we? I mean, I don't know that there's a lot of maintenance, but at some point it has to get sealed or whatever.
I know that they have, I don't know, Clyde, if you do anything in their play area, any maintenance in their play area. They do have a guy who comes from ECIAA, their Danville office, like before school starts, and he was here 2-3 days cleaning that up and weeding all in there. And
the only thing I ever really do is spray some weeds or something in there, that's about it. So, last year they had, somebody donated, I think, a bunch of mulch or something, and they had their own people come in and spread the mulch and all that kind of thing, so, yeah.
Is the garden thing working out okay as far as grass being trimmed between the spaces and
Yeah, I haven't heard anything negative on it, so.
or seen anything?
I actually was talking with the lawnmower guy last week for a little while, and, he had no comments on it, so as far as I know, it's fine, yeah.
It's 122 square feet in the play area. Unless the play area itself is 2688.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I guess if we're not having to maintain anything, but they are still using space, do we think we What are your thoughts?
I see no reason to increase the cost, to charge them for that space at all. If we give it to them free in the past, and we don't maintain it, why should we start charging now?
What if they want another half acre?
Tell them no.
Then
You
tell
can say
them
no. It's easy to say no. You like to do it all the time, Joe.
No, you don't understand, that's the problem.
I guess the concern I would have would be, we want to be nice to them, but we're giving them something for free that we're not giving any of the other tenants.
And we always have, so why change it?
And there haven't been any complaints. The other thing is when we put it in the lease about that, it was stated, it should be in the minutes, that when we allowed them to do that, if it didn't work out, caused problems, they didn't have the option to continue to do it, that we could say no. And I think everybody heard that, and I think it was clearly understood.
So you want that included here also?
I don't think it's necessary. I think that if it becomes a problem with the garden, we can say no more, this is it.
No, if they're using the ground, it should be somehow put in the lease,
I agree.
one way or another.
Well, I want to post it.
Whether we charge them for it or not, it should be specified in the lease.
It could be included in the lease as being given to them with no charge, I agree.
Yeah, we could do that.
And I think we also need to kind of, because in this lease, we have a different square footage than what's on our thing here, so we need to clarify what's what so we get the proper square footage. You got your tape measure?
Well, on this side.
You got a tape measure, Clyde?
You need a tape measure?
Well, we need to measure the square footage to make sure we get it right.
Well, this side.
What does it
Blue
say?
clay area. So this does not include the clay.
On the maintenance cost building sheet, it's got a square footage of 2567, in the lease it's 2688. More or less. Well, if we're charging by the square foot, we need better than more or less.
Are you talking about the play area?
No.
Or the inside, square foot per lease cost of the, okay.
2688 square feet, more or less, now commonly known as rooms 100 and 102.
I'm going to run, just get my file.
Okay.
For that.
Because it's $6 a square foot, you're looking at $600 difference between what's on the sheet and what's in here. That's per month, so yeah, that's $17,000 a year difference. What about the other leases? Was there anything else in them anybody saw?
We want to put the square footage in both of those also, is that correct?
They have the square footage on them.
Well, we're gonna put the amount per square foot in there, is that what we're saying?
Yes, we need to know, yes, that's the thing we forgot, is
So
why
we're
they're
gonna put that
back
in
here.
both of these also.
Yes. We want, I assume we want to charge the same square footage for all. If not, speak up now.
And what number are you proposing we go with per square foot? The 673 or 650? 4%. Oh, I have this, 4% is 650 per John. 5% is 673.
673 is what we voted on and approved.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
That's what we used on the last one, 673.
know that the square footage in both of these other leases is correct?
They do not match what's on our...
None of them match.
None of them match.
God.
So Clyde needs to get his tape measure out and measure.
Well, Clyde did have his tape measure out, and this
Which-
was remeasured
Okay, so this is
this
correct.
year.
Okay.
And these were all Clyde's measurements. I mean, this is what was used this year, and I'll show you the last one that I used the last time. So this is actually Clyde's, and here's all my calculations of where I came up with the numbers. And then last time, it was just, I mean, it was this big square. I used this drawing from God knows when. It was the 70s, because or whatever, the greenhouse was still attached. There was no 911. And you can see it's not near as detailed as this one is, and it just said 64 by 42, so that was 2688. So if you want to use that, this one I did 2656 if I used these exact measurements. If it's the interior wall, the exterior of the wall, it could be, I don't know.
Well,
But we used a very, Clyde, when he did this, did all internal measurements, correct?
Correct, that was interior, correct.
So this could very well just be the exterior measurements. I don't know. But we went from a very old, what do I want to say, not very detailed drawing to a very exact measurement, down to the inch.
If you
So there's
take the
small changes
exterior
everywhere.
walls, if you were to measure on the exterior, the walls are like almost a foot, the exterior wall. So I mean, that's going to give you a large difference in the square footage too, so that might be where some of it's coming up.
Well, I guess we just want to be consistent. You know, if this is the sheet we're figuring our budget on, then these numbers should match this.
Well, that sheet, let's don't get confused, that sheet for the cost was always to provide a general
Information.
rule of whether or not our rental amounts were covering our costs to, maintain the building. That was the intent, not to define the leases as a tool, as a guide. Which one you use, or if you want to keep it the same for ease of understanding for our tenants, that would make sense, so they don't realize or think that they got a reduction in their space. I don't know, but we're kind of comparing two different things.
Well, I guess if this is what the square foot was in the leases, is that good for everybody or not?
Well, I guess it depends a little bit on what's the common practice in making these measurements. Even some of your interior offices, you're not factoring in the thickness of the walls that separate one from the other there, with these measurements. And I don't know that they do here, but, these two right here have interior walls, but whether they have adjoining offices, and they do a little bit of a head start also. I don't know what I really don't know what's common practice in figuring rentals. If you were going to sell a house or something of that sort, you'd probably measure outside to make it look bigger than it is.
Probably go center to wall, center to wall. So if you have a 2x4 wall, you go in to the center of it and the center of it, if you're going to actually get technical.
If we're going to do that, then you got to do...
Well, if you do that, then you're probably looking at these being correct. These being a little low. Because you had 2 inches all the way around.
I would,
And you'll
yeah, I
do
would
100
tend
square feet.
to, I would tend to agree, you're probably right, but if you want to be perfectly accurate, you'd probably have to do it over. But I don't know, we can't fiddle around with this forever.
Yeah, so I guess we want to just keep with what's in the leases, since that's what they've been paying on in the past, and everybody seems to agree on that.
That seems like the right thing to do, I think.
Okay.
Just keep what's in the lease. If that's what they rented it by in the past, who paid for it in the past, there's no reason for it to change.
Okay, so the amounts that are in here, I guess, do we need to... Alright. Let's
I
start.
guess there's one question about Head Start. We pay property taxes on all this property, is that correct?
No.
No,
None of
only
it?
on the farm.
Only on the farm?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. That's fine, that answers that. As long as we don't have any expenses with that outside stuff, I'd say that.
Okay. And John, would you like to make a motion on the Head Start lease to put the wording in there, or how you want to include, I mean, do you want to include, since we're adding something to that one, we'll do it separate. We just want to,
Do we have the wording from when we approved it to begin with? When we,
Somewhere.
at that meeting
but,
a couple months
I
ago?
mean, do we just want to, you know, with the use of outdoor play area, restroom, you know, do we want to just add garden area to that? Garden area, play area, restroom, and kitchenette?
Well, I guess I'm okay with that, except that I'm a little bit concerned if, you know, we had put it in before that if it didn't work out, we could terminate it. I just wonder if we shouldn't have something along that line included here also.
Well, we've all agreed that that's okay for everyone.
But this is a new lease.
How,
It's okay in a new one, an old one?
well, okay. How would you word that?
I guess after the word kitchenette, I'd say, also including use of the garden area with the proviso that, if said use proves unsatisfactory, the county reserves the right to discontinue.
The garden.
The garden area, yes. That's what we're talking about.
Also including use of garden area
With the proviso that if the use proves unsatisfactory, the county may discontinue the use of the garden area. Which is what the understanding that we have right now, is just a matter of putting it into the wording.
Okay. All right. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
We have a motion.
And we have to put the amount of 673 in there too,
Yeah.
right?
In all three of them.
All three of them.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Oh, but we're doing this one.
Yeah, let's, because we're adding something to it, just do this one separate.
You
So,
want the 673 included in the
Yep.
motion? All right, so the secondary part of the motion to include that the rental per square foot is $6.73 for the period or term of the lease.
is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion?
Crump? Yes. Sure.
Yes.
Katzberger?
Yes.
Barron?
Yes. Okay, now, if there's no other changes for these other two leases? Can we have a motion for the dollar amount?
I move that the dollar amount be established at $673 for the lease for East Central Community Action, oh, we did that, never mind.
Volunteer services.
Volunteer
Champaign County
services
Regional Plan.
and Champaign County Regional Plan.
Is there a second? Yeah.
That's all changed.
That's it.
Crow? Sure.
Yes.
Hasbargen? Barron?
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna jump over you guys for a second. Everybody had a chance to look at the claims because Donna's got to go, so we're gonna get them approved.
Motion approved claims.
Second.
Crow?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Hasbargen?
Yes.
Barron?
Yep. Okay. Claims are approved. I believe that's all we're gonna hopefully need to vote on.
You won't make it at 3?
I have another two. I have to be meeting at two, or doing it.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, you're right.
It's okay.
Can I just ask a question on the leases? Are you going to communicate the increases to the tenants then? Or is somebody going to?
I guess somebody should. Do we have a contact of who to call or?
Some were less, weren't they? Some were less and some were more, is that right?
No, they're all more.
Were they all more?
These are all- The county board chairman has to sign the leases and they should be presented.
Well, the only one that, you're right, Larry, JTPA will go from 831 to 673. I'm sorry.
Which two are you?
I am, no.
All right.
Isn't that part of what the county board chairman does, to sign the lease and then present it to the tenant?
I guess
Put it in your report.
he's,
I think you're right.
That's what was done in the past.
okay, if he's the one that signs it, then yeah, I guess that'd be, so they've decided Kyle gets to do that.
Or his designee.
All right.
He can designate the vice chairman to do that.
Maintenance supervisor reports. Who wants to go first?
We had several condensate drains blocked up when we had that high heat thing there for a couple of weeks ago, so some drains that had to blow out. Tim Goodman's been in and out. We're working on the panic alarms for the assessor and the veterans assistance offices. He's supposed to be here tomorrow, I think, so we'll probably finish him up tomorrow. At B&B Electric here, we have one of the poles in the parking lot out up here. Had them come in with their cherry picker and took care of that. We had to replace the entire fixture on the west end of the building, this exterior security light. It needed like all parts. We got the starter, everything in there. By the time you had all that together, it's cheaper to replace the fixture. So when an LED, then updated to an LED. Trash pickup. They supposed to pick up on Mondays and Thursdays, and we have not been picked up yet this week. I realized Monday was a holiday, but then I would have thought they would have picked up yesterday. So we're sitting with a full dumpster out there right now. I'm sure Larry's probably in the same boat.
Well, I have been trying to get a hold of him, and I guess I forgot about that, because the last message I left him was that if he didn't get back with me before this meeting, we might not be able to approve his claim, but we already approved it, so. Of course, it hasn't been approved by the whole board yet. So, yeah,
If you don't get in touch with them by the board meeting, maybe we should just approve the claim.
I think so.
I mean, I've
We can
left,
do that.
I've left a dozen messages on his machine.
Well, he was fine, we had started, it's kind of nice that Monday morning, Thursday morning, get a routine, like the jail, we know what to throw away, when the dumpster's going to be empty, when it's going to be full. It's just nice to know when he's coming. If you don't want Monday, Thursday, let us know when he's coming so we can,
Right.
you know, especially with his food.
Yeah, we could Tuesday, Friday, Monday, Thursday, like our thought.
If he's just starting to pick up just the new guy that we just approved a while back, and this is his first time?
No, this.
Oh, he's been picking up.
up.
Okay, so he's been doing all right until this week?
No. I brought it up to Lyle a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's not regular like he's supposed to be.
One of the problems with Monday, Thursday is the time of day. If he would come Monday at the end of the day and Thursday at the beginning of the day, it would work out much better.
Well,
Because right now, if he comes at the end of the day on Thursday and the beginning of the day on Monday he's only got 1 day's refuse in there where he's got 4 days when he comes the other time. So if he has done, everybody came Monday morning, everybody came Thursday morning.
And it worked out fine?
Third contractor since I've been here, and everybody's been in the morning.
And it always worked out for you?
Yeah, no problem.
and that's,
Haven't there been some situations recently where that didn't work? I heard some stories. Around holidays or something, I had to call them and say, hey, can you dump it? But I mean, they were, within an hour or so, they were here dumping it, so.
yeah, that's one of the leases where we weren't specific enough as far as saying it needs to be done these days. We didn't have days in there.
Uh-oh.
But I just don't want to have coons and cats and dogs and everything else around out here, especially with all the visitation we get. Well, there was a period here recently where the environmental fellow from Health Department filed a complaint about the one back here being too full. Is that right? You don't know anything about it?
You knew that. We talked about that.
Well, you said that it was too full. I didn't know there was an actual
Right,
complaint
I
filed.
think, now, I'm going secondhand on the story, because I heard it from Kyle, who called me and said, is the garbage guy picking up? And I said, not my realm of responsibility, but I can tell you if the bill's been paid. But, we kind of talked about it then, because he said there was some concern that the Head Start inspection before the start of school was going to occur, and it wouldn't pass because the garbage was overflowing. Which I recommended he call you. Amanda and I looked at the days specified on the contract. That was really my whole conversation about it. I told him what was paid and told him what was specified on. There's only one sheet of paper. It's not like it's a big contract. It's a few lines on a piece of paper, this much money, and pick up on Monday and Friday. That's what it said. That's all it said on the piece of paper.
I don't know of a situation where we've been overflowing. I know we've been full, but I don't know of a situation where we could actually close the lids because it was overflowing. You know, like they say right now, it's full. And when I go pick up Head Start after this, it'll probably be full. But I don't know if it's going to be overflowing.
They haven't come yet this week.
No.
But under so-called normal circumstances, they dumped it when I was coming in. They dumped it.
So they were here today then?
Oh, they were just dumping?
When I was coming in, but the question really is, under normal circumstances, is it Monday and Thursday or Monday and Friday that they're supposed to come? Monday and Thursday. Monday and Thursday?
The contract, see, that was not
It wasn't put in the contract?
and what he sent was Monday and Friday.
Well, Monday, Friday, I don't
Yeah,
care.
I mean,
Well, it don't matter. But the problem is, if he only dumps it, whenever he can, then we're gonna be dumped once a week, and then... But if you come Monday and Friday, then on Monday, you only got 1 day. Well, it's supposed to be Monday, Thursday. Right, that's what I'm trying to get at.
That would be the better situation, yeah.
Right, and it should also maybe not only specify the day of the week, but maybe the time. Okay, today's Wednesday. I mean, there's a difference between... And he's dumping Wednesday, so we're not even close to being Monday, Friday. No,
Well, Monday this week was a holiday, so.
I'm talking about normal operating situation. If you specify on Monday and Thursday the time of day that you want them to come in the contract agreement with them, and they agree to that, then that should be something that's going to work for them and going to work for us. And for us, the thing that would work the best is evenly spaced during the days of the week that we're here.
And then for 15 years, Monday and Thursday.
Okay, but if somebody says Thursday means 5 o'clock at night, that's different than 7 o'clock in the morning. You see what I'm getting at?
I think you got two separate problems here. You got a problem there's when he's going to dump it, and you got a problem that he's not dumping. So
We're not talking about him not doing it. We're talking about when they're supposed to be scheduled to do it.
Well, it's not Wednesday.
I don't think the time of the day is important as the days of the week.
Okay, well, I just don't agree
I don't
on
think it
that.
matters whether it's
I don't understand what you're saying.
3 o'clock in the afternoon, as long as we get that day.
If they're gonna come first thing Monday morning and first thing Thursday morning, that's fine. Okay?
Okay.
If they're gonna come first thing Monday morning and at the end of the day on Thursday, that's not fine.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
That's what I'm getting at.
Okay, got you.
Under normal circumstances. When there's a holiday involved, maybe we need to put
you're
some
gonna have to
language in
talk
the
to him,
contract to
Get a hold
figure
of him.
something out on that. But I mean, he's got a problem with everybody that he picks up for when there's a holiday.
That's correct.
Usually you have to kind of work with him on that kind of thing.
But you just have a machine, you just get a machine when you call it.
Holiday, so it's next day.
Anything else, Clyde?
No.
Larry? Nothing?
So he picked up, so we're not going to worry about disapproving his claim at the county board meeting. Is that correct?
We still gotta talk to him.
I know you still got to talk to him, but we're not.
Well, we'll see if I can get a hold of him before the, and I guess, has he been picking up once a week, twice a week? You know?
I can't give you an educated answer on that because I haven't checked every week. I just know that they haven't always been picked up the way they're supposed to. I don't know that some weeks he is picking up too late. I can monitor it a lot closer to make sure, but
Yeah, keep track of that,
you know,
because
I don't
if we're
go
paying
out
for,
there with trash every day, although now with Head Start starting up, I will be out there every day. But when they're not here, I'm not out there every day. I guess I would have to talk to Deanne about that or something, or I'll just monitor it a lot closer for the next couple of weeks and let you know.
yeah, well, because technically, if he's picking up once a week and we're paying him to pick up twice a week, we need to cut back on what we're paying him.
Exactly, and he needs to understand that.
Well, in his behalf, he might be dumping other people in this area sporadically, so he figures, you know,
Well, the reason he put, and this goes back to a long time ago before we started having an issue with not getting dumped. He has another one in town, nursing home or something, that he dumps on Monday and Friday. So that's why he put those days. So he's in town for that, and then he can come over here, which, you know, that's probably why he could bid it cheap, because he was here already. But if he's there picking up Monday and Friday, why isn't he here picking up on Monday and Friday? And that's why,
like I said, he was
Monday and
dumping
Friday
when I
won't
came
work
in.
for us, though.
yeah,
And that ain't supposed to be on Monday or Friday or Monday or Thursday.
right. So, yeah, I will keep trying to get a hold of him, but I've stopped at his place, nobody's around, you know. I don't know what time they get up and get going in the morning or what time they get back, so. I will keep after him.
He's dumping this day, it's first day, so we should either have another dump tomorrow or Friday. He should be here again.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's sporadic, and he could do it one day a week.
You're right. I'll monitor it next couple of weeks and I'll let you know.
Okay.
Nobody's got the flat, the flashlight.
All right, has anybody got any old business?
Two.
Any new business?
I guess that this is a question that I have, wondering if we need to maybe start looking a little bit at some of the parking around here. We had one instance this afternoon where somebody almost ran into the building over here. And also, we have people out in the back who are parking in areas that are really not necessary to park in, or park on the grass sometimes, even though there's a sign saying they shouldn't do that. I just wonder how far we want to let that kind of thing go before we do something.
What was the issue with almost running into the building?
I don't know, somebody parked their car, they were about 2 or 3 feet away from the building
Okay.
right over
So
there.
they just parked close.
Yeah. It's not, they went up over the sidewalk, right up to the building, and there was somebody parked out here this afternoon when I came, and it's difficult, or more difficult, it's not impossible, but it's more difficult to pull into the designated parking places when somebody's parked out here behind you. It cuts down on the maneuverability area, and someday somebody's going to back out of there and hit a car over there. To me, it's unnecessary. There's plenty of parking spots around here that we striped and everything for people to park in. They've never been full, never once. So I don't understand why we have these things.
You're saying back here they're parking on an area that's already has a sign up, no parking?
Well, it says no parking on the grass.
And they're doing it anyhow.
Sometimes they're on the grass, sometimes they're not, but even when they're not, some of them are parking behind the area that's for handicap parking, and people who are handicapped, I don't think you can say are as reliable when they're backing out of their spot, that they might be, hitting the car back there. But I know when I usually park back there, and there's somebody's parked there, it reduces your maneuverability. Amanda and
And they're not
parked
marked,
there.
they're not marked parking spots, they're just part of the road.
They're not striped off or anything,
Yeah. So they have to be made to move that car, wherever it is.
Well, we have all these spaces out here that are striped for the intent for people to park their cars there, and even in the back there's...
Someone just has to tell them to move it. It shouldn't be hard to find out who's doing it. There's got to be a license number on that car,
Well,
and tell them not to do it.
I-
That'd be the easiest method I can think of.
Yeah, I guess, depending on who it is, it could be somebody that parks there, comes in, pays their taxes and leaves. So by the time you find out who it is,
They're gone, yeah.
But even then, there's almost always spaces there that they could park in. Some of them are even closer to the door than where they're parking. I've seen people...
But it's not people that are working here that's doing that. It's visitors coming in and out.
It's probably mostly visitors. I mean, I haven't taken a survey of who the people are. I know there was one time when I was coming back there, and it was early in the morning. There was a man bringing his child to Head Start. He parked out there. The child ran out of the car and ran right in front of my car. If I hadn't stopped beforehand, I probably would have hit that kid.
Probably.
So, I mean, again, that's part of the reason why I have a little concern about it. I just, it just isn't necessary for people to park there.
How do you plan on enforcing something like that? We don't have the law enforcement. The sheriff's already down 3 deputies. The city won't do it, I know.
Well, the city does patrol this area, but I'm sure they won't ticket somebody. But I would say one thing we could do is put some no parking signs up.
More signs, yeah. There's already signs, we can put more.
If there were no parking signs there, I would feel more comfortable in telling someone that they shouldn't be parking there, frankly. I mean, without a sign, they can flip you off pretty easy. And I don't think that we want to discourage people from using the facilities here either, but I think it's important to try and get them used properly. Along that same line...
Find a parked in marked area, or something like that. Marked area only.
Have you ever had any difficulty with people parking behind your car?
Well, I wouldn't say it's difficult, but there are times that they park behind, and you're right. Tax receipt time for the next week, it'll be that way. We just have to be more careful. So there are times that Head Start, maybe twice a year, Head Start has some thing where all the parents come, and then it's crazy. Then they're
Right.
parked everywhere. But I know we addressed this when we fixed the parking lot and striped it, because we talked about blocking off that area behind where we typically park right outside our office. It goes in, and people park laterally across there. So we talked about actually striping it, but there was a reason they said not to do that, and it had to do with, I don't remember what, somebody being liable, or if we painted striped marks there to designate those as parking spaces, and then we hit them backing out, then we're liable. But then there was something to do with if we striped it, that was another issue too. So I don't remember the whole conversation, but we ended up obviously not doing anything with it, but it's back there. Does it make me more nervous? Yes, but by the time I leave,
There's not many
You're here
around.
before
like
anybody else and you leave after.
but yeah, it's not the coming in that's an issue, it's when I leave, and usually, it's empty. So I
Put no parking fire lane.
could do that.
When I talked to him about blocking that off too, another thing that he mentioned was, well, we can do that, and it was, I don't know, it's another $400 or $500, which was there, that money was there to do it. But his thought was too, well, we can do that, we can paint it in, we can put the no parking in, but then if for some reason you change your mind, how do we get rid of it?
Well, if you put a sign up, then you wouldn't have that part of it. But it just, to me, it's not necessary for people to park there. That's really the main thing.
So the problem is getting it across to the people, what we want. And signs are probably the right way to do it. A couple of signs, maybe.
Well, we can't vote on anything on it right now anyway, so we'll maybe look into some prices for some signs or something, see how much that costs.
I guess Joel Moore said he doesn't have any out there. I think Larry or Clyde, somebody asked him for that.
Any other new business?